Hey, Sean here from IQ Barbecue, and today we're going to be making something that is so easy but incredible, and that is pork belly burnt ends. It's going to be meaty, fatty, sweet, everything you want to combine in a perfect recipe, especially for the summer. Stay tuned. And to start this recipe, we're going to start with about a 4-pound pork belly. And this is a skinless pork belly. You have the meat side, fat side, full of flavor. And this is just bacon. I mean, this is as good as it gets. So we're going to start and make this real simple. So we're going to start by cutting these into cubes. Now, I like to cut mine into cubes before I cook it. A lot of people will cook it first, get through most of the cook, then cut them up, season them. I'd rather do it now, just so I can get my seasoning all the way around each cube. I'm going to cut these into about 1-inch squares. We're going to season them, get them on the Weber smoke fire. They're going to be incredible. So let's start by cutting them here. So I'm going to cut off the ends here, just so I can get this nice and squared off. Remember, we're not going to throw away any of that. That's pure bacon. And it's important to do this right out of the refrigerator. You want the pork belly to be nice and firm, otherwise it starts just melting in your hands, all that fat, it's hard to cut. So we're gonna cut these into, again, like I said, 1-inch squares. So we're gonna make just equal cuts right down the pork belly here. This is not a full pork belly. It's much smaller, it's about half, but it's more than enough for this. Unless you're feeding a lot of people, this is gonna make a lot of burnt ends. And our last piece here, just cut the end off there to get a nice kind of uniform pieces. And you can see that's just pure bacon. Okay, so now we have our pieces cut this way. Turn them sideways here. Okay, we'll cut them going the other way. So you can see how much this yields. You have a lot of burnt ends here. This is not something you have to use a full pork belly. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, 70 or 80 of these things. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to season them. So what I do to make this easy, I just get a foil pan, put them in a foil pan, like so. Kind of spread them out. So we're going to season these with 2 different types of seasoning. The first seasoning is our spicy chicken rub. Works perfect for pork though. Gives it a little bit of a kick. So we're going to add that in here. Then we're going to add some of our honey chipotle seasoning as well. Give it a little bit of a sweetness. Okay. And then you're going to basically just move these around, making sure that you get all of them coated on all sides. This is another reason to season these before you cook them. And when they're done, should have pieces that look just like that. Coated on all sides. Very easy to make, very simple recipe. Okay, so now our burnt ends are completely seasoned. We're gonna let them sit for about 15 minutes, let that rub start doing its job, having them start to sweat and absorb all those flavors. And then we're gonna put them on a baking rack like this. Just makes it easier to stack them on a rack like that so you don't have to put them directly on your barbecue or in your oven or in your smoker and then try to take each individual piece off. If you're doing 50 or 60 of these, that just takes forever. So we'll put them on a separate baking sheet and we'll get them on the smoke fire. Okay, so let's start putting the burnt ends on the baking rack. And what we're going to do is basically just stack these on the baking rack just like this. Now, I like doing them meat side up. It's completely up to you. You can do them fat side up, meat side up. Doesn't matter how you want to do it. Whatever technique you want to use is fine. I just prefer meat side up. And we're going to stack these all the way around this baking sheet. And again, this is going to make it so much easier for us to get these off when they're done. Okay, the smoke fire's at 275. Let's get these burnt ends on. Okay, now that they're on the smoker, we're gonna let them go for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Come back, probably spritz them with some apple cider vinegar just to keep some moisture in them, and then let them go all the way till about 2 hours and 15 minutes. We'll get our instant read thermometer and we'll just probe them from tenderness. If they look good, we'll go ahead and put some sauce on them, and then we'll try them out. Okay, the burnt ends have been on for about 2 hours. Let's check them with our Thermopin. Well, how good do those look? So we're just gonna see how tender they are. And all we're looking for is just to see, that, you know, the ThermaPen basically goes in without any resistance. Very similar to what you see on a brisket, but if you want a temperature on here as well, right at 205 degrees, perfect. That's exactly what we want. So we're gonna pull these off because they are done. And they're gonna look like that. Wow, how good do those look? That nice mahogany bark on them, just perfect. So now we're gonna sauce them. Let me show you how I made the sauce. And so the sauce we're gonna be using today is basically 1 cup of your favorite barbecue sauce. We're using a Head Country apple habanero. We also put 1 cup of Cosmo Q's rib glaze, and then about 1/2 cup, you can use honey. We used agave nectar today. Mix it all together. We're gonna add this to our burnt ends. So we're gonna put our burnt ends in a foil pan here. Let's just take them and start adding them to the foil pan so we can get some sauce on them. And then they're gonna go back on the smoker again for about, 35, 40 minutes to let that sauce tack up. Whew, and they are hot. All right, so now we have them in a pan here. We're gonna take our sauce. Now I'm not gonna put a lot of this sauce. I don't want these to be swimming in sauce. I just want them to be coated with the sauce. So we'll go ahead and drizzle some of this sauce on here. About like that to start. And let's just get these nice and coated. Again, I don't want them to be sitting in a pool of this. I just want all sides to be nicely coated with the sauce. Put a little more in there. And really what you're looking for is them to look something like this. All the sides are covered, a little shiny color to them, just like that. That's exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so now let's get them back on the smoker. Leave it at 275 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. Let this sauce tack up, get sticky and gooey. Then we're ready to taste. Okay, so the burnt ends have been back in the smoker for about 35 minutes. They're ready to go. They look incredible. Take a look at these. Get that just light color from the fat and the pork still, but you also have that darker kind of a charred color from the sugar and the sweetness that was in the agave nectar and the rib glaze and the barbecue sauce we put on. So it's just a perfect complement. You get something sweet, something tender, and then a little bit crunchy as well. So we're gonna go ahead and taste one of these because I think these are gonna be incredible. I think I'll pick up this one right here. Just again, just a perfect bite. This is exactly what you're looking for. So let's take a bite of these and see what it tastes like. Wow, you're getting that almost like a sweet spare rib taste to it. But again, a little bit of that char, a little crunchiness, but the sweetness of the apple habanero barbecue sauce in there, because everything kind of comes together, plus the richness of all that fat. It's just a perfect one bite. This is something you can make for upcoming football season, for tailgating. This is the perfect recipe for that, and it's so easy to make. It takes a little bit of time to cook, but if you have a couple hours, the prep time on this is only about 15 or 20 minutes. So give this a shot. It's one of the best things we make. We make it several times a year and everyone loves them. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like our video and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you get notified whenever we put out a new video, which is every Thursday. And remember, with IQ Barbecue, everyone could be a genius in the kitchen. I'm gonna get back to these pork belly burnt ends. Have a great day.